Hey guys, on this episode of Gaming Collecting, we are once again returning to Pokemon. This time we'll be discussing all of the different Pokemon professors from the games and a couple from other media. But with that, everybody, on to the episode. So how you been?
I messed with Bill before we started recording. I messed with Bill and he was really annoyed. Guess what I
I'm just
did? Tell the listeners what I did.
Alex thought it'd be really funny to just leave the studio before we recorded, and I was just kind of like, all right, she can come back in 5 seconds, and then now we're here.
What if I didn't come back? You said
Then I would
I'll
have.
just record without you. See, I know what was really happening. You have your new co-host in the wings right now, and they're just waiting for the opportunity to take over my spot, isn't it? Because you want to cancel this show. It's okay. You don't have to lie to me. I know this
Why
is
would?
the worst performing one.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Anyways,
It's
how
all
you
my
been?
fault.
How you been?
Where am I?
You're in
What
your
is this place?
house.
Happy
It's
Halloween.
it's Halloween night. This will come out like a week after Halloween, but that's fine. Um,
What it? I like your costume. Hobo looks.
might as well be at this point. This fucking mice. There was a fucking mouse in my house this week, all right.
Yep.
Yep.
You know what? I've never had a mouse in my house, and you know why?
Because you have cats.
Yep. So get a cat, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Actually, but try and get one that's less of a menace to society.
Honestly, your cat would probably be friends with the mice. Let's be real.
No, I honestly feel like if she sees a mouse, she will kill it. I have a feeling that she'll eat it.
She
would
probably
eat it.
try to eat it.
Like if there's been a mouse in my house, I probably don't know because she ate it.
You'd probably find its remains and scream, and I'd hear about it. So
I'd probably find like just the bones.
like, usually cats like to bring you their sacrifices as presents. So
I know, but she's an odd one.
true.
She did start becoming a bed bug.
Well, she's getting older now, and she's losing that energy that kittens have.
No,
she's also
she
getting.
still has it. She still has it.
She's starting to get
energy. Bill, the kitten energy lasts for at least 3 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's starting to get fat though, so that's probably slowing her down a little.
I think it's cold and it's warm on the bed with me. I think that's more of it. Because when she's on the bed, she's being a little shit the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like, so I left clothes out. I went and worked out earlier. I left my clothes out because then I would immediately go shower after. I come upstairs. She's on the bed. She ate a pair of my underwear. She was playing with it, and there was fucking holes in it, so I had to throw it away. So now I can't even leave out any clothes, like, because she's gonna fucking eat it.
Your cat is a fucking psycho.
She's a terrorist.
You wanted it though.
Fraud was committed towards me. They said this was a shy.
It was love at first. Cat. It was love at first sight.
The first week, like the first month, she was a completely different cat. She was afraid of everything. She barely left the room, like, because I had her up in a room, and now she's a monster. She's a monster.
You love her though.
I do, but oh my god, she's a menace to society. What have you been watching, Bill?
Watched a couple shorter animes in the background. Nothing too major. Today I watched the live action Zom 100 movie.
Oh, you did? How was it?
Cheesy, but not bad. Like for live action anime standards.
for that, I could see it working because they've gotten zombie movies down.
So we're actually going to be talking about it on Geek Addicts at some point in the future, so I won't go super in depth. But I will say they abridged it interestingly. Like it only covers up to the arc where he runs into his former boss, but they merged that arc with the aquarium arc. Like,
oh, okay.
Like it works for the film, but they merged those two together. Oh. It stops there, so it's like not it doesn't go like what
probably we don't couldn't like do the whole.
Yeah, like we don't meet Beatrice or anything.
See, they didn't do a Sailor Moon Cosmos. They didn't do a Sailor Moon Cosmos and just made it make no sense.
I will say the they abridged a lot of stuff together. I will say the somehow the zombies are supposed to be more terrifying because they are not like cartoony with like rainbow blood everywhere, but they're still really dumb. They also make the sound you make all the time.
What do you mean?
Their sound effect is a little your like sound.
Wait, my that?
What like one of your sounds that you make? The more of the like the weird gargle one. No. You'd know it if you heard. Yeah, that one. the sound they the sound they make is almost identical, and the whole time it took me out of it.
That was my Tilly impression. That was my Tilly impression.
If you ever watch it, you'll understand. But
you have to send me like a clip.
I'd have to find one. I will say I wasn't. It's definitely not a movie to watch with the kiddos though, because the scene where they where he rescues his friend, I'm forgetting the names already, but when he rescues his friend at the Love Hotel, they're just fucking all straight up nude in there, and I'm just like, oh lovely.
Yeah, not for kids.
It's everywhere. Like
Jesus.
Like yeah, it was pretty good though. You'll hear if you want to hear more in depth. I'm covering it on Geek Addicts at some point in the future. So.
When does the one come out where you answer the questions? Because I keep checking every week. And
it comes out on
next Tuesday. Next Tuesday?
Well, by the time this comes out, it'll be already out. But yes, next Tuesday.
I've been waiting.
Well, I'm sorry. Waiting. On Geek Addicts, we recorded way in ahead because we've had
too much work.
You've been busy lately, so we haven't had time to build it back.
Things are going to be slowing down, so don't worry.
Other than that, I did want to share a story I had shared with Alex earlier, but one of my coworkers.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want it. I'm kidding.
One of my coworkers at work, he so they banned headphones at our job. Well, my job now. So everybody
not mine.
no headphones at all. And so now everyone
I hate to break it to you, but that was banned a while before. You just were breaking the rules. That was banned when I worked there, Bill.
I was never breaking the rules because
no. Okay. Ben was not Bob was breaking. I'll rename.
It's a I doubt he listens to this. But yeah, but the way they went about it was kind of shitty. But that's besides the point. So now everyone has personal radios. So there's just a shit ton of music playing in the building. And
wait, they gave everyone a radio?
No, people just all bought their own radios.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because let's face it, no one gives a shit, and everyone's just gonna blast music. And it's probably annoying to some people, but I don't care. I'll just play my music louder.
Yeah.
But to go back to the story, I'm walking by and I hear this song and I'm just like, that sounds really familiar. So I kind of pause and I listen. It's coming from his radio. And it's a One Republic song. And I'm just sitting here going like, is that the ending theme to Kaiju number 8? So I just look, I'm like, are you listening to the Kaiju number 8 ending theme? And he looks at me dead in the face and goes, what the fuck is Kaiju number 8? And I'm just like, the song, I swear to God, it's the ending theme from that anime. So he pulls up his phone and he looks at it, he goes, oh yeah, it is, because it legit says Kaiju number 8.
Oh yeah, it does in the title.
Yeah. And he's like, huh, what's it about? And I'm like, I'm like, okay, how do I explain this?
Monsters.
I
Guy
was like,
becomes monster.
I basically was like, have you seen Attack on Titan? He's like, I know of it. I've seen parts of it. I'm like, okay, imagine that, but more modern and like in a city, and it's like it's monsters rather than Titans. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, so that was playing at work, and he had no fucking idea, and I just find that really funny.
It's a good song.
It is. I do prefer the opening song though by Youngblood.
I like both of them. I liked both of them equally. Since you brought that up, well, as soon as I finish, I'm watching the newest season of My Hero Academia right now, and then I have 2 more episodes. And literally, once I finish My Hero Academia, I am rewatching Kaiju number 8 because I fucking love that show so much.
Good for you. You could read the manga. You have it
Well,
all.
I've been doing that too. How do you know what I'm doing? You don't know my life.
Because you just watch One Piece on repeat.
I actually have not watched that much One Piece this year. I've been branching out. Bill, I'm almost at 100 shows.
That's good for you.
I'm almost at 100 shows. Like
I'm almost at 40. So
I am working hard. So see, you can't say I was watching only One Piece because I've been watching a lot of different shit. Not shit, it's been good. Well, no, there's been some shit. There's been some shitty shows. One of them you made me watch. Just kidding. Bill just gave me the finger. Ew, a partial misready. Come on, Bill. If you're gonna give me the finger, you gotta feel like you're doing this to me.
No, I was doing my imitation of you in middle school. Yeah.
Why? Ew. Wait. Speaking of middle school, Mom sent me a photo of me dressed up in an old Halloween costume, and I was like, "That is the ugliest thing." I said, I literally texted her, "Ew," and she was like, "I don't remember this costume," and I was like, "It's probably a good thing," and she was like, "It was pretty," and I was like, "Pretty ugly."
I'm not gonna lie. Some of the costumes we had back in the day were bad. Like,
yeah.
I love seeing old photos though of us in Halloween costumes. I can be like, wow, how dated. Because like I think I was Max Steel one year. Like, who the fuck remembers Max Steel?
Yeah. No, it's funny looking back. You got lucky. You had already quit like trick or treating when Facebook was a thing. Like Facebook became a big thing. I was unfortunate. Mom had a memory.
I quit trick or treating when like I think MySpace was still the prominent social media platform. So on my old MySpace, which might
still exists,
kinda, I think, maybe. If it does, if my account's still there, there's probably photos on there that I would probably like to not exist anymore. But I'm too lazy to find out.
It probably doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, that being said, though, like some of those old costumes were hilarious. I always remember the year you were like some weird like goth pixie thing, and everyone was like, "Oh, she's a pretty butterfly," and you're like, "I'm not a butterfly." Because you had butterfly wings for whatever reason, and everyone thought you were.
No, they were fairy wings. It was a weird goth fairy. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that was one of your more abstract costumes.
I don't really remember much of Is it crazy? Like I don't really remember Halloween that much. Maybe it was all the candy comas.
Yeah, probably because you had a sugar coma the next day and you couldn't remember.
You know what's funny though is like candy wise, like I don't really like candy, like chocolate anymore. And I feel like that's what you get mostly on Halloween, but I'm like not a big chocolate fan
I'm
anymore.
sick of chocolate now because it's overdone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that being said, though, some of those costumes, I think the last year I trick-or-treated, my costume was only a bunch of shit I just threw together at the last minute. Like, I think I had like a camo army hat and coat and a skeleton shirt and glove, and I said I was a dead army guy. And I'm, in hindsight, probably wouldn't have done that nowadays because, yeah. But, yeah.
It was a different time.
No, it was called I was lazy as fuck and I grabbed the shit I had in my closet because I wasn't even gonna trick or treat that year. I did it as a favor. Yeah, and then the next year I said, fuck it, I'm done. You were Sailor Moon one year.
I was. I don't want to talk about it. So
you were an original costume.
All right. Today we're talking about Digimon.
You don't know like anything about Digimon, and I already did.
I
that,
know,
like,
that's why we're not
7
talking about Digimon.
If you want to hear us talk about Digimon, or at least me, I did an episode with our buddy Schnickerman a while back. You can check that out.
Sorry. It's a must. I can't not do that whenever it's like Yu-Gi-Oh. Like the Schnickerman is my equivalent of like Yu-Gi-Oh screaming Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh!
Did you just say Yu-Gi-Oh screaming Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yugi screaming Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, to become Yami.
Anyway, so we're talking about Pokemon for this episode. We're doing another Pokemon. It's been a bit since we've done one of these. Like, we kind of took a bit of a break there.
To do the Macarena.
Yeah, so we've already, obviously, in past episodes, we've already talked about all of the different Pokemon in the Pokédex. We've talked about the Pokemon trainers. We've talked about the rivals.
Pokey.
We've talked about the starters in particular. This time, we're going a little bit out of the box, and we're talking about the professors.
Beans.
Because every Pokemon game has a professor, and I always found them. I found it very interesting that they kind of like would try to make them like unique, but they're also all kind of the same thing in reality. So we'll start, I guess, with the guy who started it all, Professor Oak. Starting
Creepy
the theme
Uncle Oak.
They're all named after trees.
Creepy Uncle Oak.
Which is really funny
to
me.
I never noticed that.
No? Yeah, they're all named after trees. At least the early ones are. I
reading it now, seeing all of them.
Yeah. What's funny is like I don't know about the later ones, but definitely up until Sun and Moon, maybe. They're all named after trees.
Magnolia.
I think that's a tree. Maybe. I don't really know.
No, that is a tree. That's what I was saying.
Okay. Anyways, so starting with Professor Oak, the OG, the one from the show, the one that got violated by a muck. If you want to see that picture, look in the cursed image gallery on our server. What's there to say about Oak? He's the originator of "Are you a boy or a girl?"
Are you a boy or a girl?
He knows whenever you have your he knows whenever you try to ride your bike indoors.
Yeah, he does.
And he always tells you not to do that at certain points.
He's also I feel like been the most prominent on like the animes as well. And like out of all the games, like he appears the most often.
So he appears
like, outside games.
Yeah, like I mean, he was in Pokemon Snap, one of his rare talking appearances. Obviously, he was in the anime. He still appears pretty much throughout the anime, even though the other professors did appear. And the main games he appeared in, obviously, he's in Ruby Sapphire. No. Not in Ruby and Sapphire. That's like one of the few games he isn't in. But he's in like the original Red, Green, and Blue. He's in Gold, Silver, Crystal. He's in Fire, Red, Leaf, Green. He's in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. He's in Heart, Gold, Soul, Silver. The Pikachu Eevee games and the remakes of Gen 4. So he's been in a lot of games. He's generally the one when people think professor. Very prominent in the manga too. He's kind of
some brows.
He has in the manga. He has a straight up Professor Roshi arc where like he joins the final Pokemon tournament as a mystery fighter, just to like teach Green, the female protagonist's character, teach her a lesson, and then he quits right after beating her just so he could teach her a lesson.
He's just like, "Hey, fuck you, bitch, I'm out."
Well, no, she stole her Bulbasaur from his lab or in the manga, and he literally joins that thing just to beat her, and then all he says to her after he beats her is he goes, "Stealing is wrong," and then that's it. Yeah. But Oak is a very interesting one. Apparently, all of the professors have like specific like sciences that they study too. Like apparently,
Yeah,
Oak
I
is
never noticed that. Like, I was reading that too, because I'm assuming that you're on Bulbapedia.
the best database for this knowledge.
It
He's
is funny
apparently
looking
into.
at.
But you know what's funny though? After reading this, it makes sense because you actually think about it and you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah, it is funny though looking at like the because it has like the region and then what games they appear in and then like the professor's name and everything. But it's funny how it's like, all right, like Kalos, just one game. Unova, 2 games. Sinnoh, ooh, a couple games, and then you just get to Professor Oak and just like like all
yeah.
these games.
He appeared in a lot of games. But he is a studier of Pokemon ecology, which, to be fair, that was the start of the series. It makes sense.
Hmm.
Moving on, though, then we get to Professor Elm,
Yeah.
from Pokemon Gold and Silver. Professor Elm was always weird to me because, like, he's prominent for like the first like start of the game where like he makes you go and find the Togepi egg for him. And then after
Mhm.
that, he basically just disappears from the game because, like, later on, you run into Oak again, and then Oak becomes the main professor again, and Elm kind of just gets forgotten. Um,
Whoops.
I remember because he's kind of like scatterbrained, and he also gets his Pokemon stolen by Silver.
And I mean, just looking at him, he looks very forgettable. He's not very
Yeah,
memorable. In terms of design, like he just kind of looks like a younger, dorkier Professor Oak.
you know, though, I wouldn't say he's the most forgettable though, because we'll get to one actually pretty soon who I think is more forgettable. Um, Elm at least had an interesting personality. He was very big into the Pokemon breeding. That was his study. Because he does bring up the
I
whole
don't
like
like
egg.
that.
What, you don't want to be like Brock? I want to travel across the Pokemon world and breed.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't like it.
Fucking such a weird anime. But yeah, he studies Pokemon breeding, and like
Ellie Donut.
one of his main things in the game is like he gives you a Pokemon egg, which later becomes a Togepi.
Hmm.
Which is an interesting little thing. It teaches you about how the eggs work in the game. Other than that, though, Birch only appeared in Gold, Silver, and then Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Not Birch, Elm. We'll get to Birch. Yeah, he's there. He gets kind of overshadowed by Oak in the second half of the game.
Yeah, he's just like, all right, fuck you. You're out.
Yeah.
This is my game now.
Moving on to Professor Birch, though.
He's thick.
He is. He's more his entire.
He's
So
thick.
Professor Birch gets a bit more screen time, mostly because he is the parent of your rival character. So, like, say you're playing as May, then he is the parent of Brandon, or if you're playing as Brandon, he's the parent of May. Which is interesting. His first appearance in the game is
I just read his wife. His wife is Mrs. Birch, but when I first read it, I was like, Mrs. Bitch, what?
Hell yeah. When his first appearance in the game is he's getting chased by a bunch of Poochyanas and he's stuck in a tree. I always love that start to the game. And you have to go rescue him.
He's like, this fucking guy. What the heck?
He is a bit more prominent than he's a bit more prominent than some people in the game. But that being said, he is also kind of forgettable. Like,
I'll never forget him.
he appears more often than Elm, but like once you get your opening stuff, he's pretty much gone.
Yeah.
Even in the anime, he was kind of like there, but not really. It's really funny. Like in the manga, like these guys appear, but like Oak is still the most prominent professor, so like they still kind of all disappear.
As he should be. Creepy Uncle Oak.
That being said, though, I want to talk about the most forgettable professor, Professor Rowan, from Diamond and Pearl.
Never forget Professor Rowan.
Does he do anything after the start of the game? Because I don't remember him ever
I
appearing
mean,
again.
like, I don't remember, but I always remember his character design.
Well, because he was like the older one. Like,
He's the
um,
old guy.
oh
Also,
yeah,
he just looks like grumpy old man.
we never did say though. Birch's study is Pokemon habitats, which kind of makes sense considering he's kind of like always outside.
And he is because he's sick.
Yeah. Um, Professor Rowan, though, he studied Pokemon evolution and form changes, which was a big aspect of Diamond and Pearl because there was so many
He was
fucking
busy.
forms.
He was busy studying. He was actually doing his job as a professor, unlike some other of them. No.
Well, what's funny though is it's another game where Oak appears in the second half of the game and becomes the more interesting professor.
That's funny. Oak just
I
wants the spotlight. He's just like, this is my game now, bitch. Get out.
No, he's just nostalgic. Like he just appears, and then people go, "Oh my god, Professor Oak." See Rowan.
Does appear in the next game though.
No, he doesn't appear again after the Diamond and Pearl games. But what's funny though is like Rowan, I don't even remember in the fucking anime. I think he literally appears at the beginning and then that's it. Never again.
Yeah.
He just stays in his lab.
He does look very spiffy though. But Bill, remember, this is the game where everything was kind of forgettable because even like the Team Galactic, whatever they were,
they're
like,
more
remember
memorable.
what their goal was.
They're more memorable than Flare. God damn it!
Yeah, but I don't know what they were doing besides blowing up a lake. Like that was it. What is that? What are you drinking?
It's already too late. You've already missed your opportunity.
No! What are you drinking? I didn't notice you drinking before. I'm
drinking a Busch Light because I'm boring. Okay.
Busch? Beer?
I'm sorry, my favorite NASCAR driver is sponsored by them now, so I feel obligated to buy the beer, okay?
Ask me what I'm drinking.
What are you drinking, Alex? Gatorade, cool.
I'm drinking a Gatorade Zero Glacier Cherry.
We're not doing the facts mid-episode.
Yes, we are. I'm changing it up. It's Glacier Cherry.
Not letting her say the bad, not letting her say anything. I've muted her.
Now, unmute me right now. Oh, thank you. It's 10 calories. Serving size 1 bottle.
We're not doing this in the middle of the episode.
I want. Just replace me, Ben, and then you won't have to do it.
Anyways, moving on to
0 calories, 10 calories. Sorry.
Nobody cares. It's fucking Gatorade.
Nobody cares, Bill. Do you know how many people reach out to me and say,
nobody. So moving on now to the Unova region, Black and White 2. We have the first female professor, Professor Juniper.
Yeah.
I liked Professor Juniper.
She was actually helpful.
She was actually there to
shit going on in the game.
Unlike previous games, there's actually story in Black and White, so she actually contributes to shit.
She contributes to the story.
Her study is actually kind of interesting. She studies the origin of Pokemon, which is actually kind of fascinating. Which is something that
this is where you get some of the fossil Pokemon, right? You get like pretty cool fossil ones in this game.
There's fossils in every Pokemon game, but the way they did it with Black and White was very interesting. She's got a cool design. I'm surprised it took him this long to have a female professor. It would also be the last female professor for a good while as well.
She was too good. They couldn't make anyone else up to her.
I remember all the losers online too. They were complaining like a female professor. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, who cares? It's a fucking video game.
She was great.
She was, and she's like a good design. She fits in with like the rest of them. It was different. She did a hell of a lot more than her successor. That's for sure.
Yeah, who was her successor?
Professor Seymour. Seymour.
Oh, that's because he was from X and Y.
Yeah.
But he looks fabulous.
Yeah, he's got a cool design. He's very. I mean, to be fair, it's France, and like everybody was kind of fabulous in that game. I mean, it was Team Flare for God's sakes. His So this is the point where like their studies just kind of became like gimmicks of the game because his study was mega evolution and change.
I wonder
Well,
why.
they also stuck evolution in there just to give him something, even though I think Rowan also was evolution, so whatever.
Yep, evolution and form changes. Yeah.
I'll always remember Seymour for he gives you your starters, and then he shows up halfway through the game. He's like, "Here, have some Gen 1 starters as well." Just because.
Have some candy and come in my van. But
other than that, though, does he ever appear again after that? Like, I swear I don't remember him.
I don't remember him in general, so
I remember that fabulous hair and giving you fucking 2 starters because
I feel like I remember his design, but I don't remember him being the professor.
Yeah. Hey, he gives you 2 starters because I swear to God, this game wasn't easy to begin with. It needed to give you a little bit more of a cushion. Yeah. Seymour, he's like the first professor that I swear to God was designed to be attractive, I guess. Yep. Like by anime standards. He's there.
All right. But then if we're talking about designed to be attractive, the next professor was
Aloha. I didn't get far enough in this game to care, but I did get my Pokemon from him, so that's nice.
I will say the interesting thing about this professor is that part of you didn't play the game, so you wouldn't know, but part of the whole series is that he's trying to make it so that there's a regular Pokemon league in Alola so that they can compete around the world.
The one thing that made Aloha unique, he's like, fuck that, let's go back to the normal shit.
But he does actually end up he's not only the professor, but he's also the Elite Four leader.
The champion.
Yeah, he's the champion.
Spoiler.
So not only a game that's been out for like 10 years.
Some people get upset about that, okay? You gotta care about everybody.
I mean, they should already know what our podcast is about at this point. Just
fair. I mean, we are a podcast that spoils everything, but
yeah, we ruin we're ruiners. At least I am. I'm a ruiner. I ruin everything. Goodbye.
So does his gimmick change between Sun and Moon or Ultra Moon, Ultra Sun, or is he basically the same in both games?
No. So the thing about Ultra Moon and Sun Moon, it's literally the same game except the endings are different. And there's more content in Ultra and Sun Moon. But really the biggest thing is that they changed it so that the lady doesn't become like a possessed by the Pokemon.
Fair.
That was the beginning and intros of the game are exactly the same.
Gotcha. I will say I kind of like that they kind of turned it onto the head where they made the professor like a character that like you meet very early on and then surprise champion bitch.
Yeah. And he's hot.
Sure. He also doesn't. He doesn't wear a shirt either. He just wears his jacket.
Well, it's
his
Hawaii. The Hawaii.
Also,
of Hawaii. That's just what they wear. No, just kidding. That's terrible.
You know what I find really amusing too?
What?
All of the professors wear their lab coats, except for Rowan for whatever reason. At least in his.
Well, because he's a businessman. He's a business bitch.
In his later models, like in his artwork, he's got like a black like detective coat on at one point, but his in-game sprite, he doesn't wear a lab coat for whatever reason, unlike the rest of them. Bitch. Professor Yuki, I think his name is. That's Sun and Moon guy. Is that a tree also?
Yeah. I assume that's a tree. So. I think it is.
I'm assuming it's like I'm assuming it's like a tree native to Hawaii.
That would be my assumption.
It would make the most sense.
It's a tree.
Okay.
It is a tree.
Makes sense.
Yes.
And his study was Pokemon moves.
Yeah, because he was going to become the Pokemon champion.
Yes. So moving on now, we get to the Galar region where we have two professors.
Yes.
Kind of,
Well, one's like a professor in training.
yeah. Um, so Sword and Shield, I have come around on a lot. We also have
Mhm.
two female professors, which is
Yeah,
yay, more female
yeah.
professors. We have Professor Magnolia, who studies Dynamax, because Dynamax.
Dynamax.
Um,
Would you
I
like
will
to
say
choose?
I like her design, but I don't remember much about her after she gave me my Pokemon. Or does she even give you your Pokemon? Because I know
Don't
in the later
know.
games they kind of get. Because I know in like X and Y they get their Pokemon in a box. Like the professor doesn't even show up to give it to them. Um,
I honestly can't remember.
I remember Sonia too, the professor in training, because she appears throughout the game. She's like
Yeah.
kind of like a Misty type character, but I liked her more honestly.
I really like her design. It's very fun.
It is.
The
It
big
fits
coat.
with the style too, like the English look that they've got going on, or Scottish,
And
I
she
guess.
also is named after a tree.
Sonia.
It's a Addisonia. So it's a
Hmm.
Addisonia, I think is what it was. It's one of those like those big trees and like the big trees that like have the whole canopy of leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she is
She's
also named after a tree.
nice, and she studies Galar's history, which makes sense because she is kind of roaming around.
And I think too,
Do
like she helps you later. How far did you get in Sword and Shield?
a couple gyms in.
Okay, so you didn't get to like your
No,
oh, you
I'm
didn't
not.
get to the twist.
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, okay. Then
I'll get
I'm
there
not gonna say
eventually.
anything.
Okay. Yeah, we'll cover that later at some point. Um, but yeah, moving on, we now get the Hisui region. So Pokemon Legends Arceus. Professor Laviton. I love his stupid hat and how
It's so
he's kind of just like a crazy person.
yeah. Well, I mean everything's so new, so everything's just like woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, I liked him though. He was fun enough. Like he's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. He takes to you appearing out of thin air very well. I'm not
Mm.
gonna lie.
He's just like, all
Um,
right, whatever.
he's very on brand. He studies Pokemon ecology, so he's basically like Oak, just starting out.
Mm,
They didn't really learn much from him to Oak, I guess.
mm.
Um, yeah, he's there though. I don't remember much of the story in Legends Arceus. I just remember roaming around catching shit and throwing rocks.
Yeah. I'm also like, huh, don't know.
Now, the Palladia region,
Head. So there's two different versions. You have
yeah,
Scarlet and Violet, and with each one you actually have a different professor. I played Violet, so I can speak to Violet. I did not play Scarlet. I have Scarlet, but I just have not played it yet.
I
But I
haven't
will
played
tell you,
either, so this is all Alex.
well, Bill, guess what?
What?
The professor, he's been dead the whole time. I'm not kidding. The whole time he has been dead, and you've been talking to an AI version of him throughout the game.
Okay, I don't want to play this game even more now. So great.
Wait, just click on actually here, I'm gonna send it to you through Discord. This is who you end up fucking meeting. This is you end up facing.
Yeah, I'm not playing this
That's
game.
his AI.
I
Yeah,
fucking
he's been dead the whole
refuse.
game. Cause like you travel like with one of your friends, and I think his dad is the professor. I think that's what the story is, and he's like, I'm just trying to find my dad. Yeah, yeah, it's his son. He's like, I'm just trying to find my dad, and you're going into this whole time like you keep hearing about the what's it called, the something zone, the area zero, which is like this place with where the special Pokemon are, and he was like studying in it, and I guess he just died, and then but he left an AI like robot version of him, because I think it was a hologram or robot. But basically, you think you're talking to him the whole time, but it turns out it was just this fake version, AI version of him, and he was dead. He was dead the whole fucking time. Wasn't expecting that in a Pokemon game.
So reading into it, apparently Professor Sada is basically the same. They just
okay.
Also, fun fact.
I wonder if she's the mom. Oh yeah, technically she's like the same. So I don't know if I don't know how that works.
It's not important. I will say
Arven
they were
is the best part of that game.
Another reason why I don't like them is they ended the tradition. They're not named after trees.
Yeah. No, I tried to see if they were, and they weren't.
No, it says it on Bulbapedia.
Because there's got to be more trees out there.
They should be. It's a tradition. So those are the game ones. There was a few other professors that they added in for like animes. Like I remember Professor Ivy was an interesting one. She was from the Orange Islands portion of the anime. She's the one that Brock left the group. She's the reason why Brock left the group for the Orange Islands and then came back after. And when questioned about Professor Ivy, he just said, "I don't want to talk about it." so something happened there.
She broke up with him. She was like, "This guy's a fucking creep." Maybe
nobody knows. There was also Professor Freed. Freed. I don't remember him. I didn't watch the anime that far.
Me either, because he doesn't look memorable.
Other than that, though, like the trading card game, didn't really have anything different. Yeah, the professors. That's about it.
Oh, there was Dr. Who's that? Dr. Creso? I don't know who that is. Oh, it looks like it was for an event only. Never mind.
Probably.
Pokemon Wonder Attraction. Don't know what that is.
There were like the side characters and assistants as well. I do love that picture at the top of the Bulbapedia page, though, that I don't know if it's actually official or it's some fan picture.
Yeah.
But that's lovely.
That is funny. What would you rank the professors? What would be your professor ranking?
If I had to rank them just in terms of like, I guess from like how much I care, Oak is the one I care about the most. Then probably Juniper, then Birch, Elm, Rowan, Syamore, the Sword and Shield ones, and then I get after that. So
yeah, I feel like Oak would be, you know what, Juniper. I like Juniper the best. She's the coolest, and then Oak, and then Rowan. Because I don't know why, I just like Professor Rowan. He didn't do much, but I liked him. Professor Kooky or Kooky.
Kooky. He's a Kingler, like in the anime, where his like sound effect was Kooky. Yes. For no reason.
Then I like Professor Magnolia and Sonia. Professor Lavender.
They were cool.
Elm, Sycamore, and I guess Professor Bitch, and then the dead ones.
Fucking AI professors. What the fuck?
Well, no, they were alive, but they're just fucking dead.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to you in terms of what's going on in the game.
The worst part is when you're playing and like you're traveling with his son, and then his son's like, "My dad's dead," and you're just like, "I'm not ready for this conversation. Like, why am I here? Why is your dad AI now?" Oh, it was a fucking weird time.
See,
it actually was giving me vibes of like Pokemon Sun and Moon when the lady got possessed. I was like, what the fuck is happening? This is Pokemon. And I was feeling the same way. So it brought up those memories.
See, for me, the thing that always kind of got me was like, the reason why Oak is probably my favorite, just because so many of the memes came from Oak. Like, none of the other games had like the same jokes where like you try to use the bite.
Inappropriate with Mux.
No, that was just the anime. For some reason, really like Yeah, I always remember the episode where he gets the muck because it's like Oak is like really creepy, like, "Ooh, I wonder what Pokemon Ash sent me this time." And he opens it up and he's like, "Why did he send me a muck?" And then they're like lovers towards the end later on in the series. Um, but yeah, I always like the memes, like the whole like you try to use a bike indoors, and it's like Professor Oak always told me now is not the time or place, and it's always like, why does Oak know? He always knows.
He's always watching. He's in your walls. He's
Yeah,
in your
just
walls. He
funny.
created the AI before
When
it
like
was made.
I always remember when not X and Y when Sword and Shield came out and like you had like the bikes that could ride on water. It was all the jokes about Professor Oak having a stroke. Seeing this,
Whoops.
it's like they're riding the bike on water. This is not right.
He's like, this is not logical.
Yeah. But yeah, those are the Pokemon professors. They're kind of iconic. They don't know whether you're a boy or a girl, despite having eyes.
Nope.
You know,
Well,
fun
you
stuff.
gotta decide.
They should be able to see. AI, Alex. AI.
Yeah, no, only in the last game. I wonder what the next professor. All right, prediction. What do you think they're gonna do for the next professor in the next game?
It's gonna be the leader of the team, so it's gonna be like a twist like that. That's my theory. So the professor's the villain.
That's the professor's the bad guy.
That's my theory.
And he kills you, and you die.
Honestly, that would be a more interesting Twitch than fucking AI. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Or they've been dead the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, make them the villain. That would be fun.
All right. I like that. I think that's a good plan. Good idea. You send them a letter. Like,
I'm actually surprised we haven't gotten an announcement for the next Pokemon yet.
We haven't?
No.
I just assumed we would, and I just wasn't paying attention.
Maybe they finally learned that, they have to take their fucking time with these games.
Yeah. They have been rushing quite a bit.
Well, they've had every incentive to rush through them because people will buy them regardless. So it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a chat. We're running out of things from Pokemon to talk about. I guess we should probably talk about the teams next time.
I thought we already did.
Not in full depth. We haven't talked about the teams as an episode.
We did though. We talked about. I thought we did.
I don't remember.
Because I know I brought up Team. I know I brought up Team Yell extensively a couple times, and Team Skull because they're my favorite. Because they just
no. That was during the Diamond and Pearl games that shaped us because we were talking about Galactic and we went off on a tangent about all the other teams.
Oh yeah, because they weren't memorable.
We'll do a proper teams retrospective at some point in the future.
Hell yeah, brother! You're my brother.
That being said, though, once again, guys, thank you for joining us on the Gaming Collecting Podcast.
Wait. Can I say it now?
Can I say my
fact? You didn't let me finish. You kept muting. Everyone cares.
No one cares.
About my bit.
You have to wait. You have to remember to do it at the start of the episode, or else we don't do it. Period. I'm not listening to that. No one buys your crocodile tears. All right.
How can you hear me if I'm muted?
Because I unmuted you and I could hear it for a while.
Oh, whoops. Well, why didn't you just keep me muted if you could tell I was crying?
Because it's fake as fuck. Anyways, guys.
You're fake as fuck.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, guys, once again, though, thanks for joining us on the Gaming Collecting Podcast. You can find the Gaming Collecting Podcast on all the major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify. Also, be sure to check us out over on the Superpod Network. That is superpodnetwork.com. It's an awesome site where you can find a whole bunch of different podcasters, videos, blogs. We just wrapped up. We did a whole month of Halloween-themed blogs called Spooktober. And be sure to check out all the different shows over on the Superpod Network, including Superpod Saga, Super Ghost Radio, Retro Rehab, Tommy's Video Game Ride Along, A Novel Console, Bar Silence, Find Time, the Elder Trolls Gaming Podcast, Remember 64, Gaming Together, Friday Night Gamecast, and of course our three shows: Gaming Collecting, the 3DO Experience, Geek Addicts, the Retro Wildlands, and the newest member of the group, Press B to cancel.
Bill,
What?
Can I close the show with a Halloween themed dad joke?
You get one.
Okay, Bill. What do you get when you drop a pumpkin?
What?
Squash.
Sure.
Wait, you get squash. Wait, I got another one. Ready? How do ghosts predict the future?
How?
They check their horoscope.
That one was not nearly as funny.
Wait. One more.
No,
one
you
more.
got.
Oh.
I gave you one more than you initially got.
Just one more. What do you call a werewolf with a fever?
What?
Dog.
That one was the worst one of the three.
All right.
No, you don't get any more. You got three.
Please, one more. This one's pumpkin related again. How do you mend a broken cord?
How?
With a pumpkin patch.
Okay, that one was all right. That's it. Once again, guys, thank you for joining us on the Gaming Collecting Podcast, and we will see you all later.
Are you sure you don't want another joke?
No.
I can find another joke.
Too bad.
I get. Wait.